But I want to read this great comment from Glow Photo saying, watching with my 22-month-old on my lap, and she was repeating everything Sandy's saying. Uh-oh, what happened? Uh-oh.
Oh, that's awesome.
Cute.
Do you shoot wider, usually shoot wider than you need, and you're cropping later for...
I do not. I am
You
a
actually
cropping
in
camera person,
Oh, okay.
absolutely. So yeah, you're pretty much going to see what you see is what you get. There are times where I'll pull back because I want that whole everything scene. And I know I can see garbage on the side, but I'm going to go for a pano. We do a lot of panos, but otherwise I pretty much crop true to form, which I prefer because again, it's less work in the or after the work is done.
So a question that lots of folks were asking, I know you said that you use autofocus, but what specifically are you focused on with the baby who's moving around so much?
Focal points in the camera obviously move, and our goal is always to use a center focal point. If possible, it's the fastest focus. However, our goal is, the true goal of focus is to have your eyes in focus. So we always want to hit somewhere in the eye. Anybody that shoots a camera knows that that's impossible. And so typically, when you saw me shooting, it was somewhere within the focal plane of the baby's chest and hopefully on the face, but many of the shots, it was actually closer to here or here. So there is a range there of focus that you're losing. However, we were shooting over here at f8, we're totally fine. Over here at 4.0, it's borderline, but it's not a focus that somebody's going to catch unless the baby moves really quick. Then you're going to have something out of focus. But otherwise, it's super close. And with a moving baby, honestly, you have to realize what you're dealing with. This is not like a merit print that you can spend forever. Hold still. You are going like this at all times. So you sacrifice a little bit of something for hopefully a stellar image.
Do you do very much post-processing? Because everything looks so perfect straight out of the camera.
We are going to cover a long segment on sales, and I really appreciate that they like it out of camera. That's
yeah.
My goal is always to be pretty dead on. I noticed on the monitor it looked a little overexposed. I looked at the back of my camera, it was dead on. We metered it, so I feel very comfortable with it. But as far as post-processing, I'll give you the 10-second version. We show, and this is all going to be covered, we show 30 to 40 images per client, period. I'm going to give you the soapbox speech for that later. And we do artwork on 2 to 6 images, complete and total artwork, and that includes 2 art products. So all the art products I showed you, clients will see at least 2 of those. They will see 2 retouched images, and then the rest will be cropped, balanced, and color corrected, and that's it. But they will be basic. And the only time that we break that rule is if it's boudoir and we run a little softening action because we just feel like that's women like that.
At one point, I noticed you said we're going for a sequence here, and you took the tickler and you're like, click, click. What were the 3 kind of sequence shots you were going for?
I was looking for 4 frames.
Okay.
I was looking for baby looking down, baby looking up, baby looking straight out smiling, and baby either looking away or baby looking serious. That combination, I can either get a 3 5x5 panel, a 3 8x8 panel, or a 4 8x8. I can do 3 20x20s. I can do 4 40x40s. I can do a 10-foot mural we talked about. So, I mean, my goal is always to sell. I want to sell 3 20-inch portraits or a collection of 4 20-inch portraits. Not everybody's going to buy that, but I know for sure I can get them out the door with 3 5x5s. So I'm looking for variety. But the idea is something dynamically has to change. A baby sitting doing the same thing. In my studio with that shot, I probably would have turned the bowl the other way too, so that I wouldn't have changed the lighting, I just would have keyed it a little bit so that everything wasn't same exact shot. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Along the lines that he was asking about cropping after, so you're shooting for a square though, right? You were talking about these.
I typically show them in 5x5s and 8x8s, but parents buy them in 5x7s and 8x10s. So it just depends on what their final choice is. Artistically, I love squares. And with a baby, as you saw, if you imagine that little cowboy scene, there's just a whole lot of nothing going on. So square makes it, it's a combination of a horizontal and vertical orientation, so it eliminates any wasted space, which is why I love squares so much.